We are back. Kate Wheeler, Christine Bentley, that's me, and we are joined by author of The Whole30, Melissa Hartwig, who is going to lead us in our spring reset.
That's right.
Eventually in this country there will be spring, and eventually we will want to wear, skimpy things, and maybe we might want to get into a bathing suit. So we want to reset everything so we can look like you.
Well, thank you so much. And it's a reset of your habits and your relationship with food, so it goes so much further beyond just what you're looking like in a bikini.
So the Whole30 is a blog, right? It started as a blog?
Yeah, it really started with my personal blog where I was talking about my exercise and my nutrition, and we had done, Dallas Hartwig, my co-author and husband, we had done this nutrition reset ourselves back in 2009 and had such incredible experience with it that I decided to share the protocol with our readers, and hundreds of people at that time said, yeah, I want to do this. I'm going to jump on board. And that was really the start of the Whole30.
So what were the results that were so astounding?
Well, we had different results, which is interesting. Dallas had resolution of shoulder pain that as a physical therapist, he hadn't been able to heal himself. It had been ongoing for about 1.5 years, and just by changing the food he put on his plate, he had complete resolution of that pain.
Are you kidding?
No, it was incredible. It really got his attention.
So what he ate took care of the pain?
Absolutely.
So we're not talking physio, we're just talking food?
No, we're just talking about food. The food that you eat impacts your health and your quality of life in ways that you may not tie back with your diet, and that's part of what the Whole30 does, is it exposes that connection.
Now, it's based, as I understand it, on Paleo.
That's correct. The basic rules of a Whole30 are based on a Paleo framework. So, you are eliminating foods that the medical literature has been shown to be commonly problematic.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and so what are the key foods? I'm assuming sugar is high on the list.
So, yeah, you're going to do no added sugar for the entirety of the 30 days.
Okay, I'm going to start I'm just whimpering here.
I think we could probably get you a copy of the book.
We usually lead with what you do eat because that sounds a lot more appealing to people. But
no, tell me what I have to give up.
Yeah, so we're going to do no added sugar. Added sugar.
Does that include chocolate?
It would include chocolate, yeah.
Even dark chocolate?
Even the 90% stuff, because that's still a little bit of sugar in there. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Kate's her eyes are glazing over. Oh,
I know.
Okay, no sugar.
This is the hard part.
Including chocolate. Okay.
Right. We're going to do no alcohol for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
No alcohol.
Because there's lots of sugar in there, too.
Yeah, it's really the alcohol.
Is wine considered alcohol?
No wine,
no vodka. Really,
even if the vodka comes from potatoes,
well,
it's still out.
Wine is like civilized water, isn't it?
It could be, but it's only 30 days. That's what we like to say, too. It's only 30 days. This isn't the rest of your life. So you're going to give up alcohol, you're going to give up grains for 30 days.
Right.
So we're going to do, not even whole grains. We're going to do no wheat, no corn, no rice for the entirety of the process. We're going to give up legumes, so that would include beans, peas, peanuts, etc.
Now that's a surprise. I get the grains thing.
Yeah.
So no grains, no rice, so that's no bread.
Right, no bread, no cereal, pasta, kind of the usual.
What about, let me stop you, what about breads like Ezekiel bread, which are sprouted grain?
Yep, so we eliminate those for the course of the 30 days as well.
Okay.
We do. Again, what we're trying to do is eliminate stuff that our clinical experience and the science have shown to be commonly problematic. But then at the end of the 30 days, you reintroduce these foods one at a time into your new kind of clean environment so that you can evaluate how they impact you individually. So it's the way to arrive at the perfect diet for you, because there really is no one-size-fits-all.
Okay, so we've done sugar, including chocolate, no alcohol, including wine, and no pasta, grains, anything else.
Right.
What else?
We talked about legumes, beans, peas, soy.
And that surprises me, that things like lentils, that anybody would have to eliminate that.
Well, there are fermentable carbohydrates in legumes that may promote digestive distress. And again, I don't know if they're going to be good for you or not.
Okay, so
it's a matter of, pull them out, reintroduce them.
It's not normally something that people, that's on a list of things to give up for 30 days.
Probably not, yeah.
Okay, and then?
And then the last category would be dairy. So milk and cheese and all of those dairy. I know.
You didn't say coffee.
No, we do let you have your coffee. Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, you
thank
just
you.
won her over.
Tea?
Yeah. Yes, teas are fine, coffees are fine.
So no yogurt,
Kombucha,
though?
but we're not doing dairy products
No
for
ice
30
cream.
days. No ice cream,
But
no
what
ma'am.
about sorbet?
No, that would be fruit with sugar, unfortunately. I know, we've got
Okay,
catch-alls.
so
huh?
but you're allowed to have fruit. Fruit has a lot of sugar. Some of
Absolutely,
it.
yeah. What we try to do is we don't take a reductionist view on real food. So
Okay.
fruit has sugar, but it's not sugar. It's
So you can have
fiber
fruit.
and micronutrients and this wide complement.
Any kind of fruit, any
Yeah.
kind of veggie,
Fruit,
except for
vegetables, no corn,
Oh, well.
peas, or lima beans. Those are the three
corn,
that are
peas, or lima
yeah,
beans, and
technically
carrots
excluded.
that have
Absolutely,
lots of sugar.
all of that. Sweet potatoes, white potatoes, carrots, beets, butternut squash.
Potatoes.
Yes, potatoes. We encourage you not to consume them in the form of fries or chips. That
No,
kind
but
of,
people have always considered, well, my mother considered potatoes a pure starch. It was like rice or potato.
yeah, but
And what about meats? No restriction on red meat or...
no restriction. Our protein recommendations are actually
Eggs?
relatively moderate. Yes, eggs are great. We encourage you to eat the whole egg. So we're going to do a protein with every meal, about a palm-sized serving or two. We're going to fill our plate with vegetables, add some fruit, and then add some good, healthy, natural fats.
So good fats like avocado, olive oil.
Absolutely.
I love avocado oil, actually.
Yeah, that's fantastic for
Yeah.
dressings and sauces. We're going to do things like coconut. You also can do clarified butter or ghee. So those are two dairy products that we do allow in the program because they don't have any of the
animal
potentially
fats, yeah.
problematic milk solids.
Right.
So
yeah.
is this the basis of the paleo regime?
So the idea of a paleo diet is essentially based on our
Paleo.
evolutionary framework. I've heard it pronounced
Yeah,
both ways.
no.
And the foundation of the Whole30 was built on that framework, but we're not so concerned with what Paleolithic man may or may not have eaten. We're really concerned with how the food we're eating in today's modern world is impacting our cravings, our digestion, our metabolism, and our immune system.
Okay, so now I want to know, you both did this for 30 days. What was the effect on you, and then what was the effect on him?
So his shoulder pain resolved, and he identified some of the food sensitivities he had that could be contributing to that. So,
Like what?
He was eating a lot of beans and found that taking those out was really much better for his health. And then he found a sensitivity to gluten. It just doesn't make him feel quite as good when he eats those gluten grains, so he leaves those out. But he found he didn't have any problems with some dairy foods, and so he includes those in his diet on a pretty regular basis. White rice is okay for him. What I discovered through the program was that my relationship with food was nowhere near as healthy as I thought. I was very healthy, I ate well, I exercised, but pulling some of these foods out for 30 days and not being able to rely on them when I was feeling emotional or stressed helped me identify some of the dysfunctions I had in terms of how I thought about food, and the 30 days really transformed my relationship with food in a dramatic way.
So what did you turn to when you didn't have those emotional food crutches?
Yeah, it wasn't food anymore, so what I had to do was really identify what it is I was looking for. Am I bored? Am I lonely? Am I anxious? And how can I resolve that? I actually rely quite a bit now on social engagement to mediate that stress. So instead of reaching for something sweet to comfort myself, I'll pick up the phone, I'll send a text message, I'll go for a walk with a friend, and I've found other ways to kind of reward and comfort myself that don't revolve around less healthy food.
You are listening to Melissa Hartwig, who is the author of The Whole30, and you are listening to her and Christine and me, Kate Wheeler, on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks. And we're talking about The Whole30. So now, the science behind the program, because I've heard a lot of criticism that really Paleolithic men and women ate whatever they could get their hands on. So, and I would think at that time they were probably testing a whole lot of new foods. So, and a lot of people say the science doesn't back that up, but this is from your personal experience and your husband's. Do you said it was effortless weight loss and stunning improvements in sleep quality, energy levels, mood, and self-esteem.
Yeah.
How does food, because you felt better about yourself, that was the self-esteem?
I think part of it is just that food is such an emotional topic for people. You
Yes.
know, talking about food is kind of like talking about politics or religion. It's deeply personal. It's deeply emotional. We have these ingrained habits, and so many of us have tried so many times through so many various diets to change their relationship with food, to lose weight, to lose the cravings. And so one of the things that participants identify so much with the Whole30 is finding food freedom, feeling like you're finally in control of your food choices. And what we find is that getting a handle on food and changing your relationship with food and really conquering that through these lifestyle changes spills over into every other area of your life. So people are more confident. They take on other healthy lifestyle adventures. They start exercising, they meditate, they take the yoga class, they go back to school. It strengthens their relationships. They present in the world differently because they feel so much better. Their energy is better, they're sleeping better, their skin is glowing, but also because there's something to be said for finally finding a lifestyle that works for you long term, where you feel like you're not on this kind of yo-yo up and down. I feel good about myself, I feel bad about myself because I fell off the wagon. Yeah. All the guilt and shame associated with food is really important to kind of move past, and it's hard to do that until you do something like the Whole30.
Well, this really resonates with me because I think our generation, where it was, you eat what's on the plate. If you're 7, this much of the plate has to be covered. If you're 10, this much. And you eat regardless.
Right.
Because there are starving children somewhere.
Right.
And that was the mantra. And so you stopped listening to your body. And then you just ate visually, or you ate because it was 12 o'clock. And it had nothing to do with anything else. And I think we all have these emotional relationships where I feel very much that food controls me. I don't control it. And I think I'm kind of getting it, that when you are in control and you say, no, I need some protein, I'm going to have that, as opposed to, oh, I just feel awful. I'm going to go for a, cinnamon bun.
Right.
Yeah, but some people eat to live and others live to eat. And I enjoy food. I mean, my dad, he's very fit, very healthy. He's almost 80. But he always said, life is really too short not to have butter on your bread.
And we completely agree with that. And when you reintroduce those foods and identify what works for you and what doesn't, then what you get to do is take that information with you for the rest of your life. So there's a difference between the M&Ms are on the table and I'm going to eat them because I'm feeling emotional. And once I start eating, I can't stop eating. And it's sort of this habitual, automatic eating. And a difference between going out for dinner, seeing a dessert on the menu that looks delicious, saying this is going to be worth it, eating it, savoring it. And then afterward, there's no guilt. There's no remorse. You're not beating yourself up. You're not going to the gym. You're not a slave to the scale. You've had this really incredible, special experience with your food. You enjoyed the heck out of it, and then you move on. And there's a difference between those two. The food may be exactly the same, but your interaction with that food and why you're eating it and how you're eating it, those are two very different scenarios.
Because you're in control.
Exactly.
And I know you're sitting on the edge of your chair like we are, because we're talking to Melissa Hartwig, author of The Whole30, the most beautiful book, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to dive in for recipes. But what I would like to talk about is cravings. I think I sort of, when I go grocery shopping and I make a plan for what I'm making, because I live on my own, so I kind of cook for 5 days worth of stuff, I'm pretty good. But then I get home and I have these cravings I can't control. And I know that it's probably what I'm eating. I mean, I know it's emotionally based, but what causes that?
Well, it's funny. In our first book, It Starts With Food, we talk about the concept of what we call food with no breaks. It's the stuff that once you start eating, it's really hard to stop eating it.
Yeah, chocolate chip cookies, ice cream.
The salty, the fatty, the sweet, and it all goes back to the idea that these flavor sensations trigger reward in the brain, and it comes from biology and nature.
Right? Is it dopamine?
Yeah,
that
dopamine, opioids. Yeah, absolutely. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter responsible for your motivation to pursue a certain food. So you're not going to get undressed out of your pajamas and drive to the store to have a broccoli or grilled chicken at 11 o'clock at night.
But I actually have thought at 11 o'clock at night of getting dressed and going out to get, wine gums or chocolate or something. I don't do it because I'd be embarrassed. I'd have to admit it.
Sure.
And the doorman would see me. How could I explain that? Where are you going? I'm going to get chocolate. What?
Yeah.
And especially in the winter, it's
right.
prohibitive. But I think about it, and I think I'm insane.
Well, no, but you're not. These foods are scientifically designed to promote cravings and overconsumption. You know, these food scientists, they pile salt on top of fat, on top of sugar. They suck out the micronutrients, they suck out the water, they suck out the fiber, concentrating the calories and making it more available in the body. And then you've got these super normally stimulating flavor sensations that promote all of these reward and pleasure pathways in the brain, which are so closely entwined with habit pathways, and that's how this association gets made. And even in the presence, especially in the presence of stress, you'll find yourself craving these less healthy foods even more often.
So did you have cravings before you did the 30-day withdrawal thing?
I didn't have cravings as much. Like, I was never I have to have chocolate, but what I had was this, I just exercised really hard, so I deserve to have this food. Or, you know, I've been so good with eating really clean, I can kind of carbapalooza one day on a Sunday.
So this is sort of like quitting smoking. This would be like hell on earth, 30 days of this. But once you get through it?
So the entirety of the 30 days is actually not as difficult. Your first week is really tough because you've got a lot of physiological changes happening in the body. You've got these, you know, habits you're trying to overcome. You've got these emotional relationships with food. Usually by the third week, people are feeling so much more in control. And part of that is that your hormones are balancing, so you no longer have these blood sugar highs and lows that are telling you you're hungry when you're just kind of having a hard time managing blood sugar. Part of it is that your tastes change. So in the absence of these super normally stimulating foods, you grow to appreciate the natural flavor sensations in something like strawberries or sweet potato, and that starts to taste sweet and delicious. Whereas, you know, if you give somebody who's really, really used to these sweet candies, and, you know, you look at kids and, like, you give kids an avocado or a candy bar, they're always going to choose the candy bar. But in the absence, you learn to really appreciate those flavors.
Avocado and cocoa truffles are pretty good, actually. When you make them. So take us through, I mean, a lot of people are listening going, okay, it might be too complicated. Take us through what you would actually eat in the course of a day.
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, you're going to basically start off with a protein source at every meal, and it doesn't have to be a giant hunk of protein. So for breakfast, I would typically do 3 eggs, or I do 2 eggs and maybe a piece of chicken sausage. We've got some really great frittata recipes and kitchen sink scrambles in the book. So a couple eggs, maybe a half an avocado, some steamed spinach, and a cup of mixed berries would be a delicious breakfast. For lunch, you do maybe some kind of a big salad with grilled chicken, roasted beets, some apples, some toasted walnuts, and maybe a homemade balsamic vinaigrette dressing. And then for dinner, you could grill a steak or a piece of salmon, have a bunch of grilled vegetables, maybe a half a baked sweet potato, and a drizzle of some kind of homemade ranch.
Now, when you talk about sweet potato, a lot of people, we call them yams, or the orange ones,
Yes.
and the sweet potato is the red skin with the white. Now, a lot of people say there's a big difference. Is it either or for you?
It's either or, and really it's just a botanical differentiation,
Right.
the plant family that it comes from, but from a nutrient perspective, they're really, really similar.
Yeah, because my husband prefers the red skin one because it looks more like what he considers potato. Than
Right.
The orange one he thinks is too healthy.
Yeah.
So that's not the same. And what about any snacks would go in there? Are you allowed to snack?
Snacking is not a part of the Whole30 rules. You're certainly free if you want to. What we really want to get you towards is eating 3 meals a day without feeling like you have to graze between meals. And the way that you do that through the Whole30 program is that you train your body to become fat adapted. So you're not reliant on sugar for energy, which means you don't have to eat every 2 hours. It means that if you have to go a few hours between meals, you're hungry, but you're not what we call hangry, that like angry, cranky, hungry, foggy, feeling.
See, and that flies in the face of everything that we're hearing, that really we should be eating 5 or 6 small meals a day.
Right.
Through the course of the day, as opposed to these 3 big meals that we were never really designed to do the 3 big meal thing.
Right.
So I find that interesting.
Well, so there is something to like the thermogenic effect of food where when you eat, it does raise your body's metabolism a little bit, but your hormones are designed to help you manage your blood sugar regulation and nutrient intake in this really elegant and graceful way. And if you're constantly giving yourself energy every few hours, you're not allowing the hormones to do the job that they're designed to do, and you're never able, or you have no need, to tap into fat, whether that's the fat from your diet or your own body fat stores for energy.
Now, the other question I have is about sleep, because I think as we get older, and I'm quite a bit older than you, our sleep patterns tend to change, and especially after menopause, and And a lot of people talk about interrupted sleep. They don't get that deep sleep that they used to. So how did you find that it affected your sleep?
Oh,
pattern?
yeah. So one of the most common reports is people say, I'm sleeping so much better. So they're falling asleep easier, they're staying asleep longer, they're not waking up in the middle of the night. Sometimes that comes down to, again, blood sugar regulation, where if your blood sugar isn't tightly regulated, you may end up waking up in the middle of the night because you have kind of a blood sugar crash, and the Whole30 really helps with that. We're also, in kind of an indirect way, helping you manage some of your stress hormones, which play a really big role in sleep.
Absolutely.
So, and if you're sleeping better, of course, that promotes better energy throughout the day, improved performance in athletic recovery. So
tell us about what people will find in the book. It's got a complete guideline, all the resources that you need.
Yeah, it really does. This was designed to be kind of the one-stop shop. So if somebody was interested in the Whole30, I could literally say, here you go. Read this. Yes, there you are. You can have that one. And
Christine will have that one.
you walk away, and everything you need to be successful with the program is right here in the book. So there's a lot of practical application in the front. What the program rules entail, how to plan and prepare for the program both physically, like in your kitchen, and emotionally, what to do in social situations, dining out, travel, how to do the Whole30 if you're the only one in your household participating. So lots and lots of FAQ information. And then the second half of the book is all about the food. Cooking tips and tricks, how to outfit your Whole30 kitchen, and 100 recipes to get you started.
Okay, and what about if you have to go out to an event? Does it give you guidelines? Okay, you have to go out. You can't avoid this, big charity dinner or gala dinner. Does it help you navigate what you could get through?
It does, yeah. We walk you step by step through what to do if you're dining out. For things like special events, planning and preparation are key, but we encourage you to be social on this program. I don't want you living like a hermit just because you're doing the Whole30. The whole point of this is to use this experience and take what you learn into a new healthy lifestyle. So in that lifestyle, you will be socializing, you will be at events, you will be traveling, and you need to learn how to figure out how to make some of these dietary choices work out there in the real world.
Well, hold it up again for our YouTube channel, which is What She Said 167, and because Melissa has kindly offered to give our listeners, and you have to be a subscriber to our website at whatshesaid.radio.com, and Lynn will be putting that out in our next newsletter, but you will be able to get a copy of the book if you're one of the three, and Lynn organizes all that, so leave that to her, but you do need to be a subscriber to whatshesaid.radio.com, so hurry up and do that. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to both of you.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.